but I was so happy and happy for him. He can fight anyone. He with that mentality, he can fight anyone and beat. And
Canelo Alvarez has officially shared his prediction for the upcoming fight between Ryan Garcia and Rolly Romero. Ryan previously hinted that Canelo had privately expressed confidence in him, telling him he would beat Romero without any doubt. Now, after watching some of Ryan's latest training footage, Canelo is doubling down, this time publicly. According to Canelo, Ryan Garcia is simply the superior fighter. He believes Ryan's speed, sharpness, and timing are on a completely different level, far beyond anything Romero can handle. Despite their past public disagreements, Canelo is clear in his view. Ryan Garcia will walk away victorious.
The few stars in boxing. So when got offered that, I said, okay, I'm the man to do it. And I think after this performance, I'll submit myself as, one of the faces of boxing.
Ryan Garcia isn't seeing anything funny when it comes to his plans for Rolly Romero. While Garcia admitted that Romero is naturally funny and good for comic relief outside the ring, he made it absolutely clear that once the bell rings, there will be nothing humorous about what's coming. Ryan stated that Friday night will be the night he ends Romero's boxing career for good. He believes Rolly is already living on borrowed time, and this fight will serve as the final nail in the coffin. A brutal knockout that sends Romero into retirement, remembered more for his jokes than his jabs.
Too much, Rolly's going to give you everything you want. So kind of just going to let the fight come to me, and then I'm going to take over. I'm a better fighter all around. So I feel like it's going to show in the fight.
Rolly Romero seems fully aware that he won't be facing a half-hearted version of Ryan Garcia. He knows he'll be dealing with a fired-up, focused Garcia, the same man who can draw millions of viewers with just a single Instagram post. During a recent conversation with Todd Grisham, Romero made it clear that he's embracing the challenge, saying he wants no excuses. He wants the best version of Ryan Garcia, so that when he wins, there's no talk afterward about Ryan not being 100%. Romero understands he's facing an uphill battle, especially with the massive 9-to-1 odds stacked against him. Still, he's leaning into the chaos as he always does, carrying the same blind self-confidence that some admire and others laugh at.
Are you that you can beat Ryan?
I'm the most confident fighter in the damn world. I'm gonna always,
What's it take to beat him?
Gotta crack him just, right there.
Still, Romero is very much Romero. His amateur pedigree pales in comparison to Ryan Garcia's, with Garcia having fought around 240 amateur bouts, while Romero competed in just 35. His professional style remains rough around the edges, at times almost cartoonish. He's also lost 2 of his last 4 fights by TKO. To be fair, those defeats came against elite opponents like Gervonta Tank Davis and Isaac Pitbull Cruz, but among many boxing insiders, Romero is seen as a fighter better known for his wild, trash talk than for clean, technical boxing. Even Romero seems to understand this reality. He's admitted he doesn't focus on making a fight exciting, because in his words, he's exciting by nature.
Against me, so I think we're going to see a good fight, but ultimately I'm going to knock him out.
But at some point, and especially against a fighter with Ryan Garcia's speed and punching power, excitement without fundamentals becomes a recipe for getting knocked out cold. The entire card is being billed as a massive night of boxing, with Teofimo Lopez also set to face Arnold Barboza Jr. During the build-up, Lopez didn't hold back when giving his take on Garcia vs. Romero. Teofimo predicts that Ryan will stop Romero late, dragging him into deep waters before finishing the job. While Lopez respects Garcia's time away from the ring, he believes Ryan's talent and sharpness will simply be too much for Romero to handle. And honestly, it's hard to argue.
Rolly's a big dude. Obviously, he has that power. Ryan has that right hook.
Yep.
So, who do you got?
I got Ryan. I got Ryan Garcia.
All right.
Yeah. I just think that from that fight and since then, he hasn't been fighting for that long of a period and then being stopped the way he was. I think he might be changing trainers, or he might still be with Salas. But even then, but I think it's going to be a great matchup. I think Ryan needs to be careful with Rolly's punching power. because Rolly still got power, man, and it definitely could.
Still, some boxing pros aren't completely counting Rolando Romero out. As unorthodox as his style may be, it carries a certain awkward charm, the kind that can occasionally throw off more technically sound opponents. And of course, there's always the classic puncher's chance, that old school hope that maybe, just maybe, he lands the one shot that changes everything. But in reality, that's more of a lottery ticket than a game plan.
So it seems like most people have Rolly Romero losing to Ryan Garcia in their upcoming fight. At the very least, I think he truly has a puncher's chance. And you have Tank, who faced him, who is actually vouching for his punching power.
He's the only person when he swung, it felt like bricks was in like really.
Still, some boxing pros aren't completely counting Rolando Romero out. As unorthodox as his style may be, it carries a certain awkward charm, the kind that can occasionally throw off more technically sound opponents. And of course, there's always the classic puncher's chance, that old school hope that maybe, just maybe, he lands the one shot that changes everything. But in reality, that's more of a lottery ticket than a game plan. Still, some boxing pros aren't completely counting Rolando Romero out. As unorthodox as his style may be, it carries a certain awkward charm, the kind that can occasionally throw off more technically sound opponents. And of course, there's always the classic puncher's chance, that old school hope that maybe, just maybe, he lands the one shot that changes everything. But in reality, that's more of a lottery ticket than a game plan.
Rolly's a big puncher, though, too.
Yeah, he's a big puncher, but when I think about Rolly's Ryan, I think about De La Hoya Mayorga.
Someone else had told me, Rosado had told me that he thinks the same way. Why?
Well, you have big punchers who throw, those are easy to block. All you got to do is be calm, stay collective, and do your job. That's it. So I think Ryan, it's going to be a fun, short fight. It's going to be a fun 4-round fight.
Of course, this prediction doesn't come without controversy. Some hardcore boxing purists believe Oscar De La Hoya is completely out of touch. They argue that Ryan Garcia, despite his massive following, is more of an Instagram celebrity than a proven elite boxer, and that defeating Rolando Romero, a fighter with glaring technical flaws, won't suddenly make him the face of the sport. Critics suggest De La Hoya's support has less to do with Ryan's boxing resume and more to do with business. Since losing Canelo Alvarez from his roster, De La Hoya has been searching for the next big star to carry Golden Boy Promotions.
They can do some damage. And Ryan Garcia, look, he's coming off, it's going to be about a year now. He's hungry. He's hungry to get on top. He's hungry to...
On the other side, there are plenty of boxing insiders who are fully buying into the Ryan Garcia hype. They argue that if he bounces back from a career-threatening scandal, delivers a knockout against Romero, and then avenges his loss to Devin Haney, all while showcasing the explosive, highlight reel style he's known for, he could absolutely become boxing's next crossover superstar. Canelo might have Mexico and the hardcore purists behind him, but Ryan has something different. Youth, internet dominance, and that elusive it factor that brands and broadcasters crave.